Good evening. Welcome to Kent County Levy Court at the Kent County Administrative Complex, 555 Bay Road, Dover, Delaware. This is Tuesday, March 8th, 2022. We're in Levy Court Chambers, room 203. This is a business meeting, and prior to officially opening the business meeting, I'm going to turn it over to the County Administrator to explain how people can access us through the phone and through the web.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. This meeting is being offered to our guests via WebEx, the internet, and for folks who are joining us via WebEx, throughout the meeting, various opportunities to provide public comment, and during those times, we will repeat these instructions, but if you're on a mobile phone, *3 will raise an electronic hand, and we can see you and bring you into the room. If you're on a computer, there's a raise hand icon that you can select that will also alert us to your interest to addressing Levy Court, and we'll bring you into the room. Prior to making any comments to Levy Court, we will ask that you state your name and address for the record, and if it's during a public hearing, we would have you sworn in prior to making comment by the county attorney, Mr. Eliason. And as I mentioned, we'll repeat these instructions as throughout the meeting. And as a business meeting of the Levy Court, we're following the adopted rules of procedure for business meetings, as well as the Mason's Rules of Order. Mr. President, back to you.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll call the business meeting to order, and I'll ask Commissioner Angel for an invocation. I'll ask Commissioner Maston for Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Sweeney to lead us in a moment of silence for our troops and first responders. I'd like to ask everyone to rise, and if you had a hat on your head, please remove it.
Your will. Please guide our hands and our minds. Make this world safe for us to continue to work in.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Instead of my usual message about firefighters and law enforcement, first responders who have died in the line of duty, today we lost one of the great members of our community. John Pridemore, the chief of Clayton Volunteer Fire Company and the recently hired town manager of the town of Clayton, died in an accident at the Clayton Firehouse. John's loss is going to be felt throughout the entire communities of Clayton and Smyrna, as well as all of Kent County and all of Delaware, as he was a great representative of those communities and especially of volunteer firefighters in Delaware. Please keep John, his family, firefighters in Clayton and Smyrna, and firefighters throughout our state in your thoughts and prayers tonight as they deal with the loss of this great person. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sweeney. Can we have roll call, please, to determine quorum?
Mr. Angel?
Present.
Mr. Buxton?
Present.
Mr. Hall?
Present.
Mr. Howell?
Here.
Mrs. Maston?
Here.
Mr. Howell's here, online. Mr. Sweeney?
Here.
Mr. Pepper?
Here.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 present.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. Need a motion for the adoption of this evening's agenda.
Move to approve, Mr. President.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Sweeney, second by Commissioner Masson to approve the agenda. Can we have a roll call, please, on that?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. The agenda for this evening has been adopted, and need a motion on the consent agenda 22-04.
So moved, Mr. President.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Sweeney. Can we have a roll call, please, on that?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. This evening's consent agenda 22-04 has been approved. At this time, we'll open those public hearings. First item on the agenda, Mrs. Masson, ordinance LC 22-08.
Ordinance LC 22-8 is an ordinance authorizing the issuance up to $198,000 general obligation debt for Kent County for costs related to the Paris Villa and London Village Sanitary Sewer Expansion Project, and to authorize all necessary actions and connections.
Okay. Do we have, there you are.
Sorry, switched podiums tonight.
Go ahead.
So tonight is a public hearing being conducted for the purpose of giving the citizens of the county the opportunity to present testimony on the resolution before Levy Court. When providing testimony, please state your name and address, and then you'll be sworn in. After everyone has had the opportunity to speak, the hearing will be closed and Levy Court will take the action that it deems necessary. The item before you tonight is an ordinance pledging the faith and credit of the Levy Court for the repayment of a $198,000 loan for the Paris Villa London Village Sewer Project. This is a formality that is required for us to close on our loan. It authorizes the issuance of the obligation bonds. I don't know if you all have any questions on the project or on the resolution before you.
Any commissioners have any questions for Mr. Gold? Seeing none, thank you. At this time, this is a public hearing, so at this time I'll ask anyone in the audience that is in favor of ordinance LC 22-08 to please come forward and offer testimony as to why you're in favor. Anyone in favor, please come forward.
If we have any guests on WebEx who wish to address Levy Court in favor of this matter, press star 3 on your mobile phone will bring you into the room, or the raise hand icon on your computer.
I see no hands raised online.
Okay. Seeing no one in favor, anyone opposed? Anyone opposed to ordinance LC 22-08? Anyone opposed? Please come forward.
If anyone is on WebEx that wish to address Levy Court in opposition to this measure, star 3 on your mobile phone, the raise hand icon on your computer will bring you in.
Again, no hands raised online.
Any commissioners have any questions before I close the public hearing? Seeing none, at this time I'll close the public hearing, and I'll turn ordinance LC 22-08 back over to Commissioner Maston for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the issuance of $198,000 general obligation debt for Kent County for costs related to Paris Villa and the London Village Sanitary Sewer Expansion Project, and authorize all necessary actions in connection.
I am very happy to second that motion. That area is much needed, so second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Masson, second by Commissioner Sweeney. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes. Reason stated by Ms. Diana Galt.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. Roll call reveals ordinance LC 22-08 has been approved by Levy Court. Now, I've been a little bit remiss here. Commissioner Howell is a little under the weather, so he is cutting us a break and keeping us well and staying home and talking to us via phone. And I missed introducing our Senator Dave Lawson in the back there. Senator, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. Okay, next public hearing falls under Commissioner Angel. It's Resolution 3916. Mr. Angel?
Thank you. A resolution upon proposal to extend Kent County Sewage Disposal District Number 1 pursuant to Section 4606, Chapter 46, Title 9 of the Delaware Code as amended. Ms. Galt, you're up.
So the public, again, is being given the opportunity to present testimony on the resolution before Levy Court. Everyone will have an opportunity to speak. The hearing will be closed, and Levy Court will take the action that it deems appropriate. Levy Court's decision will be based on the public hearing testimony and recommendations of the Kent County Regional Sewer Advisory Board. This resolution is for the extension of Kent County Sewage Disposal District Number 1 for 2 properties. Mark, would you show the map, please? Could you go to, yes, perfect, thank you. So the first property is 1736 Bayside Drive. Let me double check that on the map. Again, that's, 1736 Bayside Drive and 765 Pickering Beach Road are the 2 properties in question. So there are 3 yellow labels on the map, and the red arrow is on the first property, and the second property is the larger one. Thank you, Mark. A technical feasibility study was prepared by the Public Works Department based on information from the applicant. So 8 cottages are proposed for the upper property, the one to the north, with 1 dwelling, and an events venue is planned for the southern property. The applicant owner is responsible for the design, permitting, and construction for the proposed infrastructure. For sewer connection, the applicant owner must obtain a commercial sewer permit and pay both impact fees, being the commercial and the main system capital improvement fee and the district impact fee, and that's based on a per EDU count. The applicant owner agreed with the findings of the study and understands that they must maintain the portion of the proposed systems located on private property. The portions of the system in the right-of-ways will be maintained by Kent County once the infrastructure is accepted. Staff recommends the extension, and the Sewer Advisory Board supported the proposal at its meeting. Any questions?
Any questions, Commissioners? No, thank you. Okay, Resolution 3916 is a public hearing. So at this time, we'll open that public hearing on Resolution 3916 and ask anyone in the audience that would like to come forward in favor of this to please do so and tell us why you are in favor.
Nobody else is coming. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jim Dickerson. I'm the owner of King Cole Farm. This was my parents' property. And not to sound repetitive, but I'll kind of give a Cliff Notes version of my previous testimony.
Sir, excuse me.
Yes.
Give your address, and I'm going to
sorry.
swear you.
James Dickerson. My address is 10948 Astig Road in Berlin, Maryland.
Do you swear or affirm tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
I do.
Thank you. Pardon the interruption.
Oh, no worries. It is our belief that our project will offer significant public benefit to Kent County through enhancing the growth opportunities for local business owners and their employees. We will offer significant opportunities for local florists, caterers, bridal boutiques, rental services, and more, including cleaning services, contractors, landscapers, and entertainers. We anticipate our project will generate significant public benefit through tourism income for Kent County, including gas stations, restaurants, liquor stores, and hotels. We are creating an opportunity to host a wedding sit-down dinner for 250 guests and up to 500 guests for a variety of other types of events, festivals, fundraisers, and shows. That's really all I've got. I thank you for your time.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions for Mr. Dickerson? No, I think you pretty much covered it last time you were in, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else in the audience in favor of Resolution 3916, please come forward.
If you have any guests on WebEx who wish to address Levy Court on this matter, *3 on your mobile phone will bring you in, or the raise hand icon in favor of Resolution 3916.
I see no hands raised online.
Okay, seeing no hands online. Anybody in the audience that is opposed to Resolution 3916? Anybody opposed to Resolution 3916, please come forward.
Any guests on WebEx who wish to address Levy Court in opposition to Resolution 3916, *3 on your mobile phone, or the raise hand icon will bring you into the room.
No hands online.
Okay, any commissioners have any questions before I close the hearing? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Turn it over to Commissioner Angel for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to approve Resolution 3916, a resolution upon a proposal to extend Kent County Sewage Disposal District Number 1 pursuant to Section 4606, Chapter 46, Title 9 of the Delaware Code as amended, Kitsummick Area, King Cole Properties, and statements made by Ms. Scult.
Second.
Thank you. Motion made by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Sweeney to pass Resolution 3916. Unless there's any questions from the commissioners, can we have a roll call vote on that, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes, as per my motion.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes, reason stated.
Mr. Hall?
Yes, for reasons stated.
Mr. Howell?
Yes, for reasons stated.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes, reason stated.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes, for reasons stated.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes, for all reasons stated in testimony.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. Roll call reveals Resolution 3916 has been approved. Thank you, Mr. Dickerson. Appreciate it. That will close our public hearings. We have no old business. We have new business. First item on the agenda is Commissioner Angel, an action item from March 1st, 2022.
Okay, any questions on that motion that we're going to be making, gentlemen, ladies? Okay, motion, I move to award a grant in the amount of $25,000 to the Downtown Dover Partnership for the exclusive and sole purpose of providing financial assistance to aid with the cost of developing a new strategic master plan for downtown Dover, Delaware, with said funding to be dispersed after receipt of evidence that the Downtown Dover Partnership has executed a contract with the selected consulting firm Mosaic Development Partners, LLC, for the development of the strategic master plan, and with said funding to be drawn from the Kent County Strategic Development Fund.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Maston. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. Roll call reveals the motion has passed. Second item under new business, Mr. Hall. Action item from March 1st, 2022.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before I make the motion, any questions about the EMS substation project, additional work items? All right. I move to approve the additional site work items in the total amount of $19,501 as quoted in the letter form quote by our general contractor, Green Diamond Builders Incorporated, dated February 25th, 2022, and as presented during the Public Safety Committee meeting of Tuesday, March 1st, 2022. And I move to authorize the president of Levy Court to execute said letter form quote on behalf of Kent County Levy Court.
Second motion.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Hall, second by Commissioner Angel to approve the additional $19,501 towards the Westover substation, paramedic substation. Any questions on the vote, on the motion, please? Seeing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. Roll call reveals the motion has passed. Next item on the agenda, a couple items fall under Commissioner Buxton. Commissioner Buxton, turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Make sure that I can see this correctly. First of all, introduction of Ordinance LC 22-03. It's an ordinance to amend the comprehensive plan map designation and the official zoning map of Kent County pursuant to the provisions of Kent County Code, Volume 2, Chapter 205, zonings for Articles 3, Sections 205 and Sections 205-9, Articles 28, changes and amendments, effective December 1st, 2000, as amended for public hearing on April 26, 2022 at 7 p.m. The second one, before I read it into its introduction, I'd like to speak on it rather briefly. In a few minutes, we will have an opportunity for public comments, but hopefully some of the statements that I make rather briefly will address some of the concerns. For starters, in about 2 weeks, actually 2 weeks, hopefully exact, we're going to have ordinances in front of us that I believe will address some of the concerns in the county that commissioners and constituents have, landowners have, regarding ordinances and solar rather, and how solar fits into the county. I think those ordinances are good ordinances. They're going to go a long ways to dealing with some of the things that we've been dealing with over the last couple months. However, there are concerns that remain. There are concerns that remain from individuals, from organizations, from agricultural communities, specifically about the mega farms, the large-scale utility farms in the county. And because those concerns still remain, I'm open to a consideration for a moratorium, which I will speak to in just a minute. Because a moratorium gives the county a chance to pause, as it's been asked, over the next month, and then listen and redirect and maybe adjust. And if we don't have time in the next month to do that, have the pause button hit to give the time to make sure that this county and its agricultural community is in fact protected from what these large-scale utility-style moratoriums can create, or not moratoriums, more applications can create. Important to note in this tonight's presentation or introduction, specific to the moratorium, is that what is not included in this moratorium is a stoppage or moratorium on what is commonly referred to as community-style solar applications or solar use in the county. And I'll specifically speak to that in the moratorium. This is not the Levy Court weighing in on whether or not we think utility is a wise use of funds, whether it's a smart business decision, whether it's effective, whether green energy is real or not. It is simply a land use decision by Levy Court. So with that said, I'm going to read into my introduction. Ordinance LC 22-09. It is an ordinance to amend Kent County Code, Volume 1, Chapter 158, Moratoriums, as amended by adding a new subsection relating to acceptance of conditional use site plan applications for public utilities, solar installations over 50 acres in size, and this moratorium will be enacted for a period not to exceed 90 days. There you are.
Thank you, sir, for the introduction.
Can the commissioner state when the public hearing is scheduled for?
I made sure not to go off the pink one because sometimes that one's, I got it right here. We're good. All right. So that is set for a public hearing on Tuesday, April 26, 2022 at 7 p.m.
Good. Okay. Do we have need for a executive session later on this evening? No. Okay. Commissioner Angel, under other business, item number 2.
Move to go into executive session immediately following the committee meetings of March 15th, 2022 for preliminary discussion on site acquisition for publicly funded capital improvement, legal strategy session regarding collective bargaining or pending or potential litigation, and personal matters pursuant to 29 Del Code 10004 B2, 4, and 9.
Thank you. That's a motion. Need a second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Maston to have executive session on March 15, 2022. Any questions? Seeing none, can we have roll call on that, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Buxton?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 7 yeas.
Thank you. At this time, any information items from the commissioners? Mr. Angel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last night I had the honor to swear in all the new members of Little Creek. The whole council changed over, all 5 of them, and they selected Ed Strauss as their mayor during that vote. So that'll give you a heads up.
Congratulations to Ed. I'm sure they'll do a fine job. Any other information items?
Mr. President, I just want to remind the commissioners and the public that tomorrow evening here in this chamber, we will be hosting a workshop to discuss the American Rescue Plan Act funding that the county received and exploring the opportunities and limitations of that funding, led by our consultant, Tetra Tech Incorporated, with the goal of ultimately arriving at some priorities for the county moving forward. That's at 7 p.m. here in the county Levy Court chambers. Thank you very much.
Any other commissioner information items? Commissioner Maston.
One on a personal note, some of you may not know, but Susan Durham lost her brother on Sunday, Medford. He passed away, yes.
Any other commissioners have any information they'd like to share? Seeing none, at this time we allow for public comments. And Commissioner Buxton, being this is your ordinance, I'm going to allow you to run this. And you might want to repeat what you repeated earlier for clarification, so we don't have any redundancies or people getting up and...
Sure. So thank you very much. The ordinance tonight, the introduction of that ordinance spoke specifically to a legislative process that will lead back to April 26 and a decision by Levy Court on whether or not a moratorium is required. That's it. And it's going to allow 30 days for that to occur. There'll be opportunity for back and forth discussion. What's not under discussion is a moratorium on community solar. That's been excluded or exempted from this moratorium. The only moratorium for consideration would be large scale, the utility style or size solar. If it's determined that the ordinance is adopted or approved in April, essentially there'll be a ban on any applications or approvals for solar that's utility size in the county for a period of 90 days, retroactive to tonight. Okay? So that's where we are in this situation. I wanted to clarify what I said earlier, that while all of us might have our opinions on solar and green energy and where we want this country to go, this process is a land use process. And I am confident that we are all unified in one thing, that we're not going to be perfect, but we have a deep respect for the agricultural community. And we heard their concerns. It's not perfect. There are always folks on both sides, but this moratorium gives them an opportunity to decide whether or not they think it's useful, and if it is, we're going to move forward with it, I would suspect. So if you are considering public comments, you are free to come down to the podium and communicate your thoughts. If you're good with the explanation, then we'll leave it at that, and there'll be a public hearing posted. Now's the time if you're coming down.
Do you need to swear me in again? No? Okay. I just wanted to say, you guys know I've been here for every meeting, every phone call. I really want you all to know that we appreciate you hearing us, taking the time to listen to us, working on this with us. You're absolutely 100% right. This is not about whether we like or don't like solar. This is a land use issue in Kent County. It's very important to the agricultural community. It's very important to the wildlife community. It's important to our economy. Every acre of farmland that you take out of production negatively impacts Delaware's economy. With everything going on in the world today, I think this is evident in every news report we see right now. I just want to thank Levy Court for everything you've done. I hope that this ordinance moves forward. I understand it's not absolutely perfect. I understand amendments need to be made. I don't think that there's a farmer out there that will tell you that they're 100% opposed to making supplemental income off of community solar. I think the waters have been muddied by utility scale versus community. And I think in utility scale, as I've had conversations with some of you, I think it's important to the Delaware agricultural community that Delaware is benefiting from the use of our land and not other states that are benefiting from the use of our land. And I just, I wanted to say thanks. I know this has been rough on all of you. It's been rough on some of us, me. We're all getting tired. I think that the moratorium's a good move to give everybody a chance to gather their thoughts, get everything worked out, all the little nuances down on paper. But I hope that this isn't just a pumping of the brakes and then we stall. I hope that we move forward with this ordinance. And if there's anything that the agricultural community can do to help the process, I hope you can reach out. I've been in contact with, as you know, most people in the AC district, and what we want is to not have our farmland grabbed up by these utility scale solar endeavors that are taking 500-acre blocks of land out for 230,000 panels. This caught us all off guard. It caught us just as off guard as it did you. And I just appreciate your efforts. I want you to know that. I know we've all been run into the ground with some of the arguments here, but thank you. If you have questions, reach out. If I can do anything, reach out. And please move forward with this ordinance to protect the rest of us. And Eric, we thank you for the work that you've done. Ms. Maston, I thank you, all of you. I mean, I've talked to every one of you at some point in the last 4 or 5 months. So, this is a good move, I think. I know you're not making everyone happy, but we can never make everyone happy. So, thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lorraine Matarese. I live at 2192 Lighthouse Road in Smyrna. And I'm here tonight because I also want to thank you very much for all this effort and hard work that you have put in to trying to move this thing forward and for working with the farmers for these ordinances and in creating these ordinances to help in the agricultural conservation zone. It's been quite a ride for me also. I live right on that road, and it was something definitely that I don't want to see. And I come to you from a different aspect. I'm not a farmer. I have worked with farmers. I have leased thousands of farm land in the hunting business that my family had. And I just want to speak in support of the farmers, of their families and their children and the whole industry, because it's such an important industry, not just for production of grain and crops, but also in the hunting industry. Hunters lease farmland from farmers to hunt. They buy licenses, they buy federal duck stamps, they eat in local restaurants, they buy shells and guns at sporting goods stores. So it's also another industry, that is involved and is a kind of a side industry from farming. And I would like you guys to do whatever you can, and I know you are. And this moratorium is a great idea. Unfortunately, I do have to say that we tried to have a meeting at Lipsick Fire Hall. Things got way off track. I am here also just to talk about the land use. I can't, anything that happened with the Native Americans and possibly, other cultures that were here, that's not what we're here for. And I don't want you to think that that's what we all think, at this point in time. I know that's also an issue, but that's not this issue. That is not this issue at all. So I just want us to remember that we are in a big flyway, the Atlantic Flyway. We have 3 big wildlife refuges: Woodland Beach, Bombay Hook, Prime Hook. They all go up and down Route 9. The wildlife feeds on all these farmlands that the farmers harvest, and they feed all winter before they, migrate back to their nesting grounds. So it's a big cycle. And I'm just happy that, we're all trying to do something that'll help everyone. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other public comments? Any public comments on the phone?
We have any guests on WebEx that wish to address Levy Court in public comment? *3 on your mobile phone, *6 on your, the raise hand icon on your computer. Thank you.
I don't know how to do it.
Okay, Catherine Holtz, if you can go ahead and give us your name and then proceed.
Okay, this is Catherine Holtz at 4189 Underwoods Corner Road, Clayton, Delaware. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm calling in in support of Commissioner Buxton's proposal, both of them. I'm a lifelong resident of Kent County. I was born and raised here. I have lived all my life here, and my husband and I have farmed in Kent County for 54 years. I feel like I have a little bit of skin in the game. No offense to the representatives from the solar companies, but they live in another state and they're here doing their job that they're getting paid for. I feel like the local people should have a little bit more say. And I by no means am debating private property rights. I think we need some guidance and some rules, as Governor Buxton has proposed, going forward to protect the landowners who are interested in doing that and having this utility solar, but also protecting the lands in Kent County. I think it's very important that we slow down and look at what's going on and put those protections in there for everyone. I appreciate you have given me the opportunity to call in, but I am in full support of Commissioner Buxton's, both of his ordinances. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dustin Thompson, you can unmute your line and give us your name for the record and proceed.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Dustin Thompson. I am the Advocacy and Outreach Coordinator for the Sierra Club Delaware chapter. And I do, although the Sierra Club is a statewide organization, I personally live in Wilmington, Delaware, 303 South Cleveland Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware. I just wanted to express my appreciation to Senator Buxton for recognizing the importance of treating these two very, very different types of solar very, very differently. I understand that, you know, just as up here in Newcastle County when we had this issue, certainly you all are facing as well in Kent County dealing with this issue. Solar, you guys got a very quick face-first dive into the world of solar and can appreciate the difficulty that can come with when you're dealing with land use issues on an issue like that, that kind of seems to come out of nowhere. But we obviously put a great deal of effort working to establish the option for community solar for communities and of course for landowners who wish to participate on that end as well. But for those particularly, we were concerned with helping those who bear such a high burden on energy costs, particularly now as everything seems to be becoming more and more expensive, to help reduce those bills that people are having to pay and really getting hit hard in the pocket. So we really, from the club, for myself personally, put a lot of hours into that project. Greatly appreciate your willingness to ensure that community solar and the benefits, the many benefits that they can provide, can continue to move forward while we deal with this very separate and large issue of utility scale solar. So just wanted to thank you for that, and again, offer any assistance we can provide, any resources we can provide on the community solar side when working with the ordinance. So thank you all very much for your time this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
I see no more hands raised online for public comments.
They left out President. It was funny because earlier when I was, before I did the introduction, I tried to stay on script, so I wrote some things down. And I'm horrible at staying on script, so I was just bumbling all over it. And I'm like, they must not have heard that. Anyway, I see no more comments. Back to you, Mr. President.
Well, I think it's interesting that your facial complexion matches Mrs. Maston's coat right now, so. But folks, everyone that's come in over these past months to talk about solar, we really do appreciate it. We really do appreciate your interest in your county. You know, your input is valuable to us. We're elected to represent you, and we will need to hear your thoughts. And you know, we put a lot into those thoughts, and you know, we consider everything. But we really do appreciate you coming in here. You've been in on some hot nights, some cold nights, and we're going into spring, so hopefully things are looking up. So, but again, thank you for coming in. We really do appreciate that. And any commissioner comments? Seeing none, at this time, need a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn to workshop.
Second.
Yeah, adjourn to workshop in our caucus room, and you're invited to that if you like. But all in favor of adjourning to our workshop in the caucus room? Aye. All right, anybody opposed? No?
Aye.
Thank you, folks.
Thanks for using WebEx. Visit our website at www.webex.com.